years. So big shout out to them too. I've just got an alert saying the stream is live. Have we been talking to ourselves for 3 minutes?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on Predict the Week, 16th of December, 2024. Dor, how was your year?
It was great. How was your year?
It was phenomenal. My year was amazing because I've done some things this year that I've never done before. I launched a physical product. I launched my oil. Where is it? Have I got one of them there? I launched my love oil, a magical oil, a blend of essential oils, and its companion, the wealth oil, is going to be knocking on my door later on this morning. So that's never happened before. I've got my big tarot course out this year, a whole video course that I've been wanting to put together forever, and it's taken me 2 years to film. That came out this year. I turned 50 this year, so lots of exciting things happened. How was your year? How many places,
Oh,
how many
have we?
regions did you have number ones in?
I don't know. I've
Oh,
lost
have you
count.
lost me?
I've we lost you very slightly for a second. Yeah,
You've
I've
lost
lost
count of
count.
all your number
I've lost count
ones.
of all the regions and all the places where things kind of went whoosh. But I was thinking, you were saying there are things that you hadn't done before, and it got me thinking there was a couple of things I done this year that I hadn't done before. So one of them was I recorded a song specifically for an advert. Um, I got the text message one Sunday morning. Oh, can you sing this? I was like, obviously. Did it without
What
even
a question.
like, what is this for? And it's like this big advert in Germany. But I also recorded adverts this year, so I'm also going to be featured in adverts that should be coming out, I think, the start of next year, if they're not out already. For a couple of psychic services. So that was really interesting. I'd never done either of those before, and interesting that they're both things I've never done before, but both advertisements.
So this year has been a number 8 year. Um, 2024, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. And 8 is a number that I love working with magically for business. Why? Because the number 4 is the number of stability. It's the square, the rectangle, the diamond. It's got
Mm.
4 corners, 4 sides, and that makes it a wonderful number for business. What other number is great for business? It's 2 times 4. You know what's better than 4? 2 of them.
Two.
So, yeah. So, the number 8, first of all, is phenomenal for business, and also it is shaped like the infinity symbol,
Mm.
and that is also beautiful, very, very magical. Um, so it has been a 4 year, so it's been a phenomenal business year for you, a phenomenal business year for me. And I think it makes it sort of so much more exciting because both of us are identified with our careers. It's not a job that we do for
Mm.
each of us. Our work is very much who we are, which is, a little bit sad and a little bit very happy.
Well, it is very much who we are. For me, there's obviously the musical, artistic part, and the psychic part, the psychic park.
How
The
nice would that be? Can
That
you
would be
imagine if we,
awesome.
yeah, like a dog park, but for psychics?
Let us run loose, let off some steam, because we do work a lot with high energy. Like dogs
Yeah,
are very high energy, and I feel like psychics are the same way. Um, and obviously the psychic part as well. And for you, the psychic
that's
part, the
literally,
witchy
that's everything I
part.
am.
Yeah, it's just so I don't think that you switch off and on being a psychic or switch off and on being musical or artistic in some way. I think it's just something that's inherent. Um, so yeah, it is who we are.
Absolutely. And a little bit later on, we're going to be looking at a topic that has to do with some of the original personal brand bearers who whose
Mm,
business was just being who they are. So a lot more on that later. And
I'm
then
so
in
excited.
terms, yeah, there's no need to segue when everything is smooth. And then we've just finished the Mercury retrograde. How was your Mercury retrograde tour?
Oh, it wasn't that. I was gonna say that it wasn't that bad, but then I remembered like the electric blanket broke. One of the cats pulled a plug out the wall. Um, um, family member's phone broke, things like that. So I was going to say, oh, actually, it's not been too bad. Like I felt like I was really cheeky. I did two of the big no-nos that you're not supposed to do. I bought electronics that were absolutely fine, touch wood. Signed contracts, absolutely fine, touch wood. But then I was like, no, because there was like that kind of undercurrent of like, this is going wrong, this broke, this text message went the wrong way, sent something to the wrong person, very nearly sent something very shouldn't have sent to the wrong person. Managed to catch it by the hair of a whisker. How was yours? Was yours all right? Because I know that you were doing some like electrical stuff and things as well. Good
Yeah,
morning to
so
everybody, by the way.
I did. Hi, everyone. In the Mercury retrograde, obviously, you shouldn't sort of do that much with tech or with typing. But I use the Mercury retrograde to upgrade all the phones of the household. And that was such a nightmare. And it went fine. I upgraded them, got a great deal and everything. And then throughout that same day, techie stuff kept getting on my nerves in this sort of really unbelievable way, unbelievable, in a way that was kind of mixed up and everything. Also, saying my our wealth oils are just about to come through the door. That should have happened a good week ago, but the
Mm.
labels, because it's a brand new product, so the labels had to be like signed off on and everything. So the label printers claim that they emailed the proofs to Amanda, who does all the active part of it. She swears she's never seen an email from them. So for a whole week, our production line under the moon, Amanda mixing it herself. For a whole week, our production line was halted because of the Mercury retrograde, because the proofs hadn't made it back. So, and it's been a weird retrograde in the sense that some of the time I've had kind of very, very quiet days, which I rarely do with work. That's great.
Mm.
And some of the times I had so much coming in that I had to keep lists of the lists. I
List of
was
the
so
lists.
not keeping on top of things because there were three big articles that were due this morning. Today I woke up early to do them. There's two extra articles due this week. There's three more due before the end of the year, and then there's two more due for January. But the thing is, they all came in one day.
Mm.
So the kind of uneven nature of it was a bit mad. And then the kind of contracts that you had to sign, also I had to sign at the same time. So there have been a lot of changes, and also I had some issues with, well, literally with this platform here, so that I couldn't get into sort of pressing the levers and pushing the buttons. And so we had to kind of make Grizz wake up at 5 a.m. to do this for us last week. So it's been quite the retrograde. And we've got some confirmation from Lorna saying, oh, yes, thank goodness that is over. I wish I hadn't heard you say it. Just all minor, but many, many of them. That's the thing. It's the
Many,
sheer
many of them.
volume, isn't
Yeah.
it? And
Yeah.
Suzanne is messaging from Facebook saying, yes, things didn't go smoothly. She goes, I know what you are talking about. So just to let Aisha know, Aisha, I've got your question and I've got it in the special folder, and we're going to do everybody's questions in about half an hour. In about 30 minutes, we're going to get to do all of your questions. But if you've had any fun, by which I mean not at all fun experiences with the Mercury retrograde, please let us know.
I have
Now,
one to share from a
tell me,
friend.
tell me.
First of all, though, I just want to take a little minute to say, while we're saying hello to everybody who's coming in, a big hello to those of you who don't watch live, but you still come through and you DM and you email and you say that you enjoyed it, or you listened to it while you were doing the hoovering or whatever it is. You know, we see you, we love you. It doesn't matter that you're not here live. You're still part of the Bigfoot Grizzly Predict the Week family. So thank you so much for still joining in. Yeah, so we got off lightly. We got off lightly. So I've got a really good
Right.
friend. You know her as Angelic Michelle. She's
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
really, really, really lovely. We were talking earlier, and during the Mercury retrograde, her hand steamer broke. So her hand steamer broke, stopped working. She needs it to clean all her clothes and stuff, right? So it's really important thing. She's like, okay, I've had that a few years. I'll order a new one from Amazon. It came broke.
Other ordering channels are available
Oh, yeah.
from a place.
A place
Came
sent a replacement. It arrived broke. So she's had two broke ones from a place. She's like, can't deal with this anymore. Send those back. I'll order from a different place. It arrived broke. So she's got
broke.
four of the same item, three of them brand new, completely broke. And
That's
then yesterday, as the
so
Mercury
odd.
retrograde was letting up, the original one started working.
Of course it did. Of
So
course
I'm
it
like,
did.
okay, we got
Oh,
off lightly. We got off lightly. We didn't
yeah.
have to deal with that. Um, so
Wow. Prairie Winds is saying, hey, y'all beautiful souls. Lovely to meet you. Mwah, 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 mwah,
nice to meet
mwah.
you.
Yeah. Lorna says, oh my God, she certainly wasn't meant to get a new streamer.
No, she was not. She absolutely was not.
That's
Uh,
hilarious. Hilarious and also very, very tragic. So what we're going to do is one final prediction before we break up for the holidays and see you again in January. So we're going to predict the week for you. Pay attention. Who wants to start? I know you've got some good angel numbers, and you didn't tell me beforehand what they are, so I'm on the edge of my seat.
I do. So I've got the first thing that we have. I always like to start with the angel number. So we have 9999, 9999, or 9999. So four nines, which kind of blew me away because I've been working with angel numbers for a while now, and I've been doing numerology for a while now, and you don't see like four nines. You don't see nines that often, actually. In like a sense of things coming up naturally. So four nines in one go, I was like, oh goodness me. And it's a really, really good number, and it's a really good number to kind of finish the year off. So it's about results. It's about completion. Okay. It's about feeling satisfied, things coming to an end, good things and bad things coming to an end. But the real takeaway with this is take stock of your achievements. So it's actually time to sit down and go, wow, I did all these amazing things this year. Pat yourself on the back, you know, treat yourself and just feel really, really good about the things that you've done. And listen, it doesn't have to be, being on Brazilian TV, right? It doesn't need to be that massive. It can be you survived going to the shop for a loaf of bread, right? Everybody's achievements is going to be completely, completely different. So it's time to sit back and go, well done, me, clap, clap, clap. And I think that that's really important. And I thought it was really, really good that it came up. at this time of year. Yeah, like the next part says celebrate yourself, so kind of covered that. Really spend the next until we come back very early next year. Spend that time celebrating yourself. Give yourself a Christmas present, even if you don't celebrate Christmas. Take that day to say, you know what, I deserve a nice thing. Why am I seeing nail polish? I feel like somebody in particular needs some new nail polish as like a gift to themselves. Is it you?
I get two of them. Two of them.
Ah,
Two. Got them, handed them to my better half to wrap and put under the tree. I'm guessing the very, very late night of the 24th, it will get wrapped up and put under the tree. I'm hoping. But yeah, two of them. Correct. Accurate.
I love that. And so I also asked for these cards are terrible for this type of like TV lighting. Um, but I also asked for an area for us to focus on healing, and we have expect a miracle. It's not saying
Oh,
manifest a miracle. It's not saying plan for a miracle. It's not saying anything like that. It's saying just straight up expect a miracle. So whatever that little, hope has been in the back of your mind, whatever that little wish has been, maybe you fostered it throughout this year, maybe you fostered it throughout the past month. Expect it. Just know that it's absolutely going to happen. It doesn't matter how it happens. It doesn't matter how it comes about. Just expect it. Just know that it's absolutely going to happen. I'm going to take a fairy card or two as well. You all know how blunt the fairies can be, so don't at me, at them. Ooh. So the first one is new home. New home. And it doesn't necessarily mean a new house. For some people, it will. For some people, it will mean a new house. It will mean like a physical new place of living. For some people, it could be just a new group of friends, a new Facebook group, just something new that's going to come up in the next. They're telling me 2-3 weeks. It's supposed to be a week, but they're telling me 2-3 weeks. That's going to make you feel more homely, like you have a new space to talk about stuff, to share stuff, to be around like-minded people. And we also have to finish up. Whom do you need to forgive? So who do we need to forgive before the energy of the year goes out? Who do we need to sort of go, right, I forgive you, goodbye. It feels very much like a forgive you, goodbye. Listen, I'm not the sort of person who's going to sit and say that you need to forgive people all the time. That's not it, right? If somebody's really, really, really done something horrible to you, it's okay to not forgive them. But I feel like for some people, as we're going out of this year, myself included, we do need to just say, right, I forgive you, off you go, bye bye, and let that be the end of it. Don't hold on to any kind of like, oh, they might change, or oh, if I behave better, maybe they'll behave better. Absolutely not. Don't go down that route. Just I forgive you, clean slate, goodbye. What have you got for us, Inbal?
amazing. Well, first of all, there's a couple of bits of feedback before we even sort of go to extra predictions.
Oh,
Andrea says she's been looking for a place for her daughter and herself. So for her, the new home is a physical, realistic prediction. She says, "I claim that."
claim it.
She's and Lorna says, "Yes, no more lingering resentment. I forgive you and goodbye." Love it.
Love
Um,
that.
Prairie, when you said about 999, Prairie said my birthday, December 19th, 1990. Isn't that incredible? So that is
That
a
is
lot
incredible.
of nines going on.
And happy
And
birthday for the week.
in just a few days. And very, very sadly, Prairie said, just lost my mom in October, this October. So it's
Oh,
been a ride to say the least. She won't be calling this birthday, but it is what it is. bring on the new year. I'm so ready. Do you know, I don't want to be sort of weird about it, but it's very, very possible that she will check in her own way. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Look around on your birthday, see if there's a fragrance that you connect with, a perfume she used to wear, or if there is a special smell from the kitchen that reminds you of a bake, that reminds you of home. That I really believe that they do check in, and especially on days that will be special for you, or you might dream of her. So, very happy birthday from us. We love a Sag on the show, don't we? Love a
We do.
Saggy. Yeah.
We do.
Um, and we've got a quick check in from Poncho saying St. Louis, Missouri, checking in. So let's do a couple of predictions for the week for everybody. Anyone that sent in questions. So at this point, it's Aisha, Andrea, and Suzanne. We're going to do your questions in about 20 minutes. And anyone that watches the show later on or that listens to it on a podcasting platform, when you can, check in because you can get your questions done on the show. So, a quick weekly prediction for everybody using my trusty tarot. Right, this is really, really nuts because as the world is um, starting to calm down ahead of the festive break, you had sort of quite businessy movement kind of predictions, and
Mm.
mine are no different. So we're starting with the Eight of Wands. So we've still got the eight, we've
Wow.
got the action activity, and this is a card of opportunity. It says that opportunities are still coming. Is the world shutting down for a while in 9 days? Your energy doesn't care about it. It's not bothered. It is bringing you some stuff that you don't even have to work hard on. It's just coming, and that is exactly your expect a miracle card,
Mm. Yeah,
right? In
exactly.
tarot
Yeah.
form. Have you got it there? Shall we put it side by side? Yeah. Let's put it all the way to the screen. Everybody claim it, breathe it in, expect that miracle. Those opportunities are coming. It would be cute to present the whole show from behind cards, which I suppose, figuratively
Oh,
is what's going on.
yeah.
It's also showing me an award. Now, this is kind of bizarre because the Hanged Man is a card that sort of says things are staying temporarily stuck and probably, benefiting you. Um, but over the weekend and over the next few days, and also over the rest of the week, I've had to do loads and loads of predictions for like award shows, not like for about award shows. And in a lot of them, doesn't he remind you so much of,
Mm.
right, of some of
Yeah,
the statuettes? So
yeah.
I've seen this one show up again and again, either for the awards that I was doing predictions for, or to say, just because you don't win this award doesn't mean you're not going to win the other awards. There's loads of them, loads of them.
Loads
So
of them.
opportunities, awards, and then it reminds you something really, really important. I think it's important. Let go of the deadwood. You have lots to do, lots to achieve. If you stay stuck to friendships that are not benefiting you, if you're helping out in a work situation that's not benefiting you, even with a family connection that's not benefiting you in any way, think about it. Think about it and figure out not even why you do it. I'm not fussed why you do it. Figure out the fastest way out of there, because in order to claim that elevated energy that you absolutely 100% deserve, you need those 24 hours in the day. If you're wasting 24 hours in the day doing things that don't reward you and don't award you in any way, then you're wasting your own time. It's not the other person wasting your time. They'll ask, and want to have what you can give. Of course they would. Of course, who wouldn't? It's your role in your life to put up the boundary and say, no, no, this is enough. And just before we carry on, 'cause we've got some good messages coming in. Before we carry on, just one quick little message from the crystal ball. Right. It says, in the best possible way, things are closing in. Do you know, I'm a big sitcom fan. I like to laugh.
Me
And
too.
the right? And the best sitcoms will have a few storylines. And at the end of the episode, all those storylines will somehow come together. That's the
Mhm.
best ones. And this is what's coming up for you right now. Now, I've had to try and figure out and like answer journalists, how come that a message that goes out to literally thousands of people applies to the specific person listening? And I don't have an answer, but I know from experience that this works really well for me. It works really well for the people that send us feedback. So this is for you. You're listening to it. This is yours. Don't just claim it. You jump on it like your life depends on it. All the different storylines are coming together even now, even the end of this year, the hard work that you've been putting on this side of your life and the hard work that you've been putting on this side of your life will somehow converge to create an opportunity that is unique to you and you alone. It's coming and it's going to surprise you at how well it comes together. So, for example, let's say for somebody like Dora here who has a successful career in the psychic world and a successful career in the musical world, an opportunity is coming in that combines both. For example, I mean, he also has a successful career in the gaming world and as a voiceover artist, so that's not maybe the best example, but they could all come together. So yeah, that's what I've got. That's a fun prediction, isn't it?
They could all come together, and very occasionally, very, very occasionally, they do.
Yeah.
Very occasionally they do, and that really, really excites me because if I'm doing, like this, I sing the theme tune for Predict the Week, which
Yeah.
or a show, which from today you can get as a free download from my site. So if you go to torjamesfaulkner.com, click the music page. The music page needs a bit of organizing, but it's right at the bottom. It's a free download. It's the full theme tune from the song. And actually, the bit that's in the theme tune is not the best part. It gets better. So even if you just want to go and have a little listen, you can stream it for free there too. Um, I highly recommend that you do because the best bit is like the middle eight. So, but yeah, it's available for free downloads. To say thank you for supporting the show and happy holidays and all of that lovely lovely stuff. Just a big 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 thank you.
I'm just typing it as a message for everybody. Says it torajamesfaulkner.com where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing a letter. .com. Download Tor single free on torjamesfaulkner.com. Happy. Amazing. I'm going to send that to
Thank you.
screen and then I'm going to pop on a few messages that have been conversing with each other. Lorna already says, Freya, found it. Beautiful.
Thank
Flashing it
you.
up, flashing it up, flashing it up from all the different accounts so that we know that this is happening. Right. So while we were talking, we had a conversation. Prairie says, I'm a channeler and other neat abilities, and I've been waiting for her, so she better say happy birthday in her own way, or I'm spanking her urn. You probably
That's hilarious.
film it for the YouTube. And then she goes, sorry, I've got a different personality and humor. That is not different.
No,
Check your
that's perfect.
surroundings.
I love that.
check the audience. This is exactly the humor. Um, Oh, look, Lorna says to her, sorry, I want to scroll up. Um, I believe you, Prairie. I got a daffodil on the doorstep within a couple of weeks of my dad passing. And she says, all sorts of personalities here, Prairie. You fit in perfectly. And then Prairie very beautifully said, sorry about your Papa Bear, Lorna, sending love and hugs. Also, how beautiful of him to leave you a beautiful daffodil for his baby girl. And Lorna says, yes, my favorite flower, daffodils and daisies. And we have a little reading going on here. Prairie says he was such a kind man, but a funny man in his way, and he smells good. Big smile, hugs, big laugh, big love, but also stern and respected. So, yeah, so we've had a lot going on in the messages. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and do you know what I
I
didn't?
love
Beautiful.
I love, love, love when you all interact and support each other. I really, really do. It's absolutely beautiful. And you know what? You do get messages or, a hello or a happy birthday or something from people who have passed on in the strangest ways sometimes. So, last year, somebody very, very close to me passed away, very, very young. They were very close to me, but we hadn't been in touch for a while for reasons that are not for the show. Um, and I thought, okay, I need to just take a couple of weeks to separate myself. I need to sort of grieve and get over this a little bit. And the song White Christmas was very, very special for us. And it was like February, right? So it was like last February, not a Christmas time at all. And I threw myself into watching Sex and the City of all things, and White Christmas played not even in a Christmas episode. It was just in the background of,
Oh,
and I was just like, oh my goodness. So I tried to ignore what was going on, and he was like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna say hello to you. You're gonna acknowledge me. You're gonna acknowledge what's happened. Um, so our loved ones will and do make themselves known if we try and ignore them, even if we're not psychic. They will come through in some way.
absolutely. I find that I feel very emotional whenever there's a rainbow. I always think the rainbow is from my mom. And I
Mm.
was surprised to find out that other people did that as well. And didn't you have a charting single that dealt with exactly
Yeah,
that?
yeah. That's kind of the premise of Look for Me in Rainbows. It's the story of someone who knows that they're passing away, and they're telling their person, their child, whoever it might be, look for me in rainbows. That's exactly what it's about. And it's I didn't write the song. It was written by Con Bernard originally. Um, and it's just such a beautiful song. The first time I heard that, I so my manager at the time had said to me, I really want you to do this song, but I hadn't heard it. And then by chance, I'd come out of the shower and it was blaring in the kitchen. The local radio station was playing a version. And I was like, my goodness, yes, we must absolutely do this song. Um, yeah, and people responded well to it. It's kind of not
People
the sort of that I feel
love it.
comfortable promoting because it's like a sad sentiment. So like I don't feel comfortable
Yeah.
saying like go listen to Rainbows because it's like it's sad, but um
But it's really, really beautiful. I remember when it was number 4 on the Amazon chart, on like the Amazon chart, right? It wasn't sort of just on the like on a niche chart, it was in the Amazon chart. And it was just so mind blowing how huge a response it got. Lon Nicole says, don't forget to stroke that thumbs up sign, folks. And we've got a few more messages before we go into today's topic. Prairie says, sub, like, I just love you and your wonderful
Thank
energy.
you.
Thank you. All good vibes here. We lift each other up, says Lorna. And Lorna says, oh, love that tour. Prairie said, I feel so blessed and grateful to be here and a part of this Amazing community. We love the
Oh,
community vibe.
you've loved
Trista
it.
says, always Lorna, that's all anyone gets on the Bigfoot Outlet channel. No matter whose show you're watching, it's always a great place to be. Yeah, no, I tune
It
in
is.
when I need a little boost, a little pick me up. We've got Prairie saying, divinely guided to this special channel. Your vibe attracts your tribe. We always
Oh,
say that.
I like that.
Greetings from Woo. Um, and Vibe Attracts Your Tribe, Lorna Nicole says. Fabulous. So, speaking of big Nicoles, we've got
Little Nicole.
we've got an incredible topic that's very close to your heart, Tor. Do you want to present it?
I do, I do. So this week's topic, ooh, I'm getting excited. We're going to talk about Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie. Oh, can you hear the excitement in my voice? Um, Coming back together for Paris and Nicole, the encore, which I've already watched. I've watched every single second of it. Um, they've come back together for that, but when they were promoting the show, they went on the Call Her Daddy show, and Alexandra, who presents the show, she asked them about when they fell out. So, in case you're not aware, the girls did a big reality show from from 2003 called The Simple Life, and around season three, the girls had fallen out, and they've given an answer about why they fell out, and they were saying that the media kind of came between them. There was, it was sparked by that. They were saying they didn't have the communication skills to kind of come together and sort of talk about it because they were so young. And really, it was just kind of one of those things where they'd fallen out for a bit and got back together. But because it was in the public, they've kind of not really been allowed to forget about it, right? I think we've all had friends where we've fallen out a little bit and come back together. So Inbaal, what I would like to ask you is number one, do you buy their answer? And number two, is there an astrological reason why that would happen? And should friends work together like that, do we think? And I've got
So,
some numerology here for
I'll tell you,
two.
I really do buy their answer, and I'll tell you why. Their answer is that the media just makes stuff up. Media just makes stuff up
Oh,
for clicks. And that is true. It's so true. Do you know, I was watching the Graham Norton show once, and he said to one of the guests, so on the Graham Norton show, to American guests, you should know they all actually drink. So they're all sitting there with like actual drinks. And that was like his technique of sort of getting his celebrity guests to reveal everything. And because he's obviously very famous himself, then he has similar experiences. And he said to one of his guests, he said, do you ever get that? Do you ever get that? That you'll see an article about yourself and it's all lies. Every word is made up. And you're like, wow, that none of it is true, none of it. And you just turn the page and read another about another celebrity, and you're like, wow. Yeah, you're willing to believe everything because it's just so believable. So when I was sort of very, very new in the business, I did some celebrity readings to somebody who has since passed. So I don't want to say the name because it's exploitative, but also it's somebody who's no longer with us. Um, and one of the things that came up in her reading was like, I said to her, you don't feel like you can be honest. And she said, yeah, because, whenever I say anything really honest, it ends up in a magazine. Anyway, a little bit after the readings, there was a photo of herself and one of the guests that was at her party, who was as gay as a maypole, the two of them at some launch or some opening saying, such and such is now dating this guy who she is definitely not dating. And it also said that he was like a Hugo Boss underwear model, which he like, I don't want to body shame anybody, but that guy was no underwear model either. And that gave me a real glimpse about how things are fully made up. Now, things are a little bit different now. This is, this is those years. So we're talking about like 2003, 2005, when Paris and Nicole fell out. It was rife. Things are a little bit better now because, first of all, celebrities and all people have their own voice. They can type what they want on social media and nobody can come and edit it for them. If they want to have somebody curate it, like a secretary do it for them or something, that's different. But they put out what they want to put out. Also, because of emails, you don't really get misquoted as much anymore. There's different tricks. But back, like long ago, I remember doing an interview, like a radio interview, and my answers were broadcast, but between the interview and the broadcast, they changed the questions to make my answers seem as if they were wrong, to make me look less psychic. Which is really the kind of thing that somebody would say if they gave the wrong answers, but it actually did happen. But now I submit almost everything in writing. There's very, very few interviews that I'll do in person. And even then there's like screen recording. So when I submit things in writing, they end up in the papers exactly the way, like word for word. If they even like take out one word, they'll put like dot in between. The trick that is done now is really to sort of take the most sensational word and put it as a headline, super out of context. So, they still need the clicks, they still need to sell advertising space. I totally get it. But I 100% believe the girls that a lot of their falling out was in fact manufactured. And part of it, I fully believe would have been put in the papers for effect. But also with that being the time before social media and before kind of the overexposure of every little thought sort of being out there, they were young and probably did believe the headlines, like I was saying with Graham Norton. It's like one page, I did not say that, this person is not mine. The next page, what? She said what about me? You fully believe, because your initial response as a human being is that people probably tell the truth. Now, one of the so the interesting things with their star signs, Virgo and Aquarius, which by the way are the star signs of my parents. So I feel like I've got a PhD in Virgo and Aquarius.
Nicole's the Virgo, Paris is the Aquarius, just to be clear.
Yes. Yeah. I think very, very clear. Even though their public personas were very much as if they're similar, I see like all the Virgo in Nicole and I really see the Aquarius in Paris. But Virgo and Aquarius, it's not that they can't lie, but they don't really understand lying. Why do people do it? Why do people get out of it? And therefore, they really, really believe. Now, obviously, there's other signs that are very, very honest. Sagittarius, just to say things in the worst possible way. Does my bum look big in this? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy it. But there's something about the kind of naive approach of Aquarius and of Virgo where lying just, it's not that they make a decision not to lie. It wouldn't even occur to them that anybody might lie. So if Nicole's people came to Paris and said, Nicole, blah, 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 said this and that, she would assume that is 100% correct. So I do buy it. Do you? Because you watched the full interview. I just read the article.
I partially buy it. Buy it. And there's a couple of reasons why I partially buy it. So listen, Nicole, Paris, if either of you happen to see this, I absolutely love you both, right? I've been watching you my whole life. So anything that I say, it's not shady, maybe a little bit. So I just dipped my toe in a little bit to their numerology. So Paris is a 2. So Paris is a team player. she's patient, she's kind, honest, right? But the downside to being a two, every time I say two, I think of Ross Geller. Two twos. um, so yeah, the downside to being a two is that twos can often be, and I think this might be true for Aquarians as well, they can often be very codependent, right?
Oh, yeah, they're
So
so much more comfortable as part of a pair than, than
yeah,
alone.
and I think that we see that with their dynamic a lot, particularly on, like the early episodes of The Simple Life. But Nicole is a four. Nicole is a four. So she's hardworking, she's, practical. But the downside to her being a four is that she's a perfectionist. So if you've got somebody who's codependent and you've got somebody who's a perfectionist and wants everything to be a very specific certain way, that can actually be a little bit toxic in a work situation. Now, let's not forget The Simple Life was work. It was
Yeah, it was a
work. It
job. It was a
was,
great job
yeah.
for them.
So
But yeah, it was a job.
while the friends and out in the club and playing at Kathy Hilton's manor and stuff like that, that's really really great because you'll have Nicole saying, right, Paris, right, we're going to have shots at 11 and then we're going to dance on the tables at 11:30 and then we're going to go to the next place and then tomorrow we'll you know whatever, right? And that's really really good because then Paris would be like, oh yeah, great, let's do that, and it works
That
really
was a
really well.
great impression.
I've had a lot of practice. Um, but in a working situation, that's going to grate on Paris's nerves eventually. It's going to be toxic and it's going to grate. So I believe that there probably already was tension there, even if they didn't realize it or didn't acknowledge it because they wanted to be like, we're friends and we don't want to let this make us fall out. It was it looks like it was there, going by the numerology. It looks like it was there, and the other reason why I don't really buy it is because, should I talk about this? I worked on a show with someone who I considered a best friend, and
Yeah.
it did ruin the relationship. It absolutely ruined the relationship. It was that person's show in the first place that had been very very successful. It was on various networks. It was in syndication. There was different versions of it. So there was audio versions, video versions, interactive versions, and it was really, really a well-established show. And then she wanted to change things up a bit. I was trying not to say who it was, but I've said she, so it might give it away. She was trying to shake things up a bit, and I came on as like a co-host for a year. So it was like 10 to 12 months, so like the best part of a year. And what had happened was, and it took me a long time to realize this, I didn't really realize that this was going on at the time. It was only sort of looking back and, thinking on it. What had sort of happened with it was we started to be hired as a duo. So there was a couple of other things that we did as a duo. And I think that that only works if you're really well established separately. But separately, I was being offered TV work, magazine work, book deals. Not to brag, this is just what was going on. A lot of stuff that I was turning down, and this person wasn't. They were just being offered the show and things similar to the show if tour was included, and it ruined the friendship because it made it toxic to sort of work with them. There was jealousy. There was constant snide remarks sort of done in a veiled way, which you might not have realized at the time, but when you sort of look back and you watch it and you see the expressions and you listen to the context, it's really really obvious. And a couple of people did say to me at the time, you need to, maybe disengage a bit. But of course, I was in the same position as the girls here. I was young and didn't really know what was going on and maybe didn't want to accept that my best friend was behaving in that way. And then it got to a point where we just didn't speak. So unlike Paris and Nicole, we're no longer speaking. And other than what was kind of taken and put elsewhere, she actually took all of our work down. That's how far it went.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
really upsetting for me because even though I was being offered stuff separately that they weren't, I was still trying to include them and everything. So I was still saying, okay, you can have me for that, but what about this person? Like, why don't you have them on? And even did get them, bits of TV work and things like that. So I think Paris and Nicole's friendship must have been a lot stronger in the first place. I think it must have had a better
And very,
foundation.
very long. They've known each other since childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was very
Um,
established.
but I think that unless the two friends involved are very established separately, I think that it can make it a very toxic friendship and maybe make it fall apart. What do you think? What do you think,
Yeah,
Inbal? I've
you know,
spoken a
as
lot.
you were talking, I was like, oh, I've always worked alone, and then I realized that I've not always worked alone. I've always
Mm,
worked with Sagittarians who will, pick things up, drop things off. Everything's always easy. But for a couple of years, I had like a working partnership with a Leo, and we always sort of did all our literature so that the address and landline number was hers, and the post office box and mobile number was mine, so that we had like a 50-50 chance of a customer sort of ringing one of us or the other. And there were times that people would ring her, and therefore if they just needed the one person, they would book her, and that was no problem. And there was one situation where the person rang me, wanted to book me. I told her, she sent me a long letter saying, how can you take away opportunities? Do you think I'm rich and can turn down work? And I thought, okay, if we're using the word rich, this is really where the issue is, and it's really between you and your therapist. But it was a long letter. I gave the letter to a friend, Sagittarius, who folded it up and put it in a book, because the friend had like reams and reams and reams of books. I said it'll only come back to me if I didn't want to put it in the bin. I did want to
mm.
set fire to it, but I didn't want to put it in the bin. But that friendship, after that letter, there was no friendship at all. Now, for me, it's okay. I'm a sociable person. I also sort of move on from friendships, and and it's all right. For her, she just had a baby, lost all her friends because they didn't really want a friend with a baby. So I used to be the one to sort of come and sit with her, and entertain her, check in on her when I was on holiday and that. So I know that I was like, a force for good as much as I could. And over that one potential booking, which by the way, never even came to pass,
Of course.
in entertainment, you get inquiries all the time
Every
and
day.
booked.
Every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every day, and booked for, I would say, if you're like really good, maybe a quarter of those inquiries.
Mm.
Maybe I would say so, much closer to like the 10 to 20% mark.
10%.
So,
Yeah.
so that booking never even came to pass. But to dissolve the partnership. We had like two businesses together, partnership, the friendship, any future potential partnerships, all the free help that I would do, and sort of coming and helping her with her other business that had nothing to do with me. So yes, and I really, really get that. And I don't want to sort of put it down on a Leo, but man, Leo's complicated to have any sort of partnership with. What was
My
the
person
star
was a
sign?
Capricorn. Capricorn.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mm.
Yeah. Also does not play well with others. Struggle to share.
Do you know what? When I say that it took me a really long time to realize what was going on, it was literally like 6 years. Like right up until last November, I was still trying to include this person. Like I would be hired for things, and I'd be like, but what about this person? And
Yeah.
last November, it'd been 5 years since we'd even spoke.
Oh,
So
but that's what Lorna says. Lorna picked up on it before you even said it. That's a shame to her. She says, "But better you found out at that time than later." I just know if it was the other way around, you would have been delighted for her. You
yeah,
would. You're like the world's
yeah,
best cheerleader. You're always so excited when anyone books any job.
I
So
am.
yeah,
I am because I think that there's enough room and there's enough different ways of doing things that everybody can do everything, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up
We
in
live in
talent
such
shows.
a Exactly. We live in such a wealthy society of abundance. I really
Mm,
think there's enough for everyone.
there is, and I grew up in talent shows, which was not the best environment for me because I didn't understand why everybody couldn't win. Like,
Yeah.
why was somebody first and somebody had to come last? Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like,
Is this why I don't watch talent shows. I don't watch any of the rating shows because
mm,
in my Pisces mind, I don't understand how somebody's better than anybody else.
right.
Everybody's great.
And
Applause,
art
applause,
is
applause,
not a
applause.
competition. Art and music is not a competition. Like, it can be so different between just two people, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
thank you so much for that, Lorna. That's such a huge compliment. Thank you. Mwah.
and Trista who says Tor has a big heart. It's
Oh, thank you,
true.
Tristan. Mwah. Thank you so much.
Now, we don't want to come to the end of the show before we've done all of your questions. If you've sent in your question, I've got 6 here on the side. If you sent in your question, we're going to do it. If you haven't, please, please wait till January. So, shall we? Shall we do sort of instead of double questions? Shall we do one question each and kind of rotate them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who wants to start? Do you want to start? Shall
You.
I start? I'll start. Yeah,
You start. You start.
I'll start. Aisha said, Zaid Mahbub, is he controlling or what do you see? What kind of red flags do you see? Oh, I love this question
What a
so much.
question.
Is he controlling and what red flags? Right. He doesn't realize that he is a little bit controlling. What I see is it's somebody that love bombs. Now, he thinks it's adorable. He feels like he love bombs from the heart, but actually, this is his way of making you like really, really devoted to him. So it's a bit of a red flag, but I would say maybe like orange, like an orange flag. It's not fully red because it doesn't mean badly by it, and he doesn't mean to be all over the place. He's just a very intense personality, and I don't see, God forbid, violence or anything like that. But the love bomb is something that you'll need to put a bit of a lid on with him. Let's give you Andrea's question saying, what is around me that is not helping me serve my highest good, that is keeping me from my blessings? What's
What
keeping
is?
Andrea from
Can
her
you say that
blessing?
again?
It's from Andrea 54 Hector. And she says, what is around me that is not helping me serve my highest good, that is keeping me from my blessings?
Lack of lack of knowledge. Sorry to be so blunt. La Not having enough understanding of what you're trying to bring in. So what I mean by that is like if you want to be a dentist, you sort of need to go to dentist school or medical school, whatever they call it, instead of just expecting to suddenly be a dentist next Tuesday. So it's kind of like, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, it's like you're skipping a step a lot of the time. You're skipping the part in between. So if you just do some more research about what you're trying to bring in, regardless of what it is, that will actually help. Yeah, yeah, a little bit more studying, a little bit more researching, a little bit more looking around, and also your self-belief is sometimes quite low. So you're sort of kicking yourself and going, oh, I could never do that after you've told the universe that you want to do it. So yeah, more research and do some work on getting your confidence and your self belief up.
Amazing. Thank you so much for getting in touch. We've got a question from Suzanne. I'm going to grab that one, saying, would love to know what the rest of the year has in store for me, please. Let's take some cards for the rest of the year for Suzanne. Right. We don't have much left of the year, but it looks like you're going to make it feel as if it is chock full of action and activity. Look at that. So first of all, look at the colors, how bright and sprightly they are. You're going to have a few options offered to you, and those actually serve your higher good. And it says that you're going to go for the one that keeps you strongest and fittest, but there's also one that will keep you sharpest mentally. So to me, it looks like it might be different job offers or career opportunities, projects, and one of them is further away and one of them is more working from home. And I see you going for the one that's further away, but it says the one working from home is, is equally as good. It's also really, really positive for you. So
That's
that is a fun
amazing.
one. Let us know. There's, just 2 weeks to the end of the year and you managed to pack in such
A
a
lot
lot.
can happen in a fortnight. A lot can
It's true.
happen in a fortnight.
It's true. Do you feel like that's what they're going to engrave on your headstone? A lot. Here lies Tor. A lot can happen in a fortnight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be having a Viking funeral, but yeah.
On the arrow with a
On the
flame.
arrow, yeah.
Um, right. Why don't you grab this one from Deek, who says, "Could you do a reading for me, please?" So I've got a beautiful general.
Okay. Fairy cards are good for that. Is it Deke? Deke the name? I love that name. Let's see. Oh, Deke has a very lovely, calm, green, leafy, healing energy. But maybe you need to be out feeling the woodsy green fresh air. So yeah, there we go. So the fairies are saying maybe don't be inside so much, maybe not be sitting down so much. There's stuff around you that you need to let go of, that needs to take you outside a little bit, be moving around a little bit, um, dance around a little bit, and yeah, again, it's kind of the same message. They want you to be moving around, but they want you to be moving around outside. What that's going to do is it's gonna lift your energy, and it's gonna I have to be careful how I put this. It's gonna make your head feel less burdened by fog. Is the best way that I can put it for the show. Yeah, so move around outside. But if you can't move around outside, put some party music on, and dance around your house in your pants.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So let me grab this question from Sarabi, who says, when will my package of salary increase? So
Ooh.
timings. I do love timings. I actually have, not to promote too much, but I actually have a mini course that teaches how to do timings readings confidently and accurately if you wanted to treat yourself right. This one is showing me a star sign. And what's interesting is that I feel like it's coming in February, but I can see that there's already been conversations about it since November. So at first I was a little bit stumped because I thought November, no, that's already been. It's November for the start of the conversation, and then we're coming up to February, to the time of Aquarius, for the end of the conversation, for the signing on the dotted line. However, I feel like even after the salary increase, you're still a little bit underpaid. Would you agree with that? Because I feel like you should be, just to sort of keep you equal with what everybody else has got, you should be offered a little bit more. So I'm going to actually throw an extra question for you and ask, should you drive a hard bargain or just take what you're offered? it says that at this stage, take what you're offered, but keep in mind that it will be time to renegotiate shortly after. So rather than wait a couple of years, only wait a year to renegotiate, or rather than wait a year to renegotiate, make it 6 months, because you're still a little bit under where you should be. And let's do one final question for today's show, which also makes it one final question for the year. Let's see who's got the honor. And it is Trista Howard who says, in Ballantor, can you all tell me what seems to be in my kitchen or outside my kitchen windows that my dogs stare at and stand over me to protect me from? So that question is for you, Tor, and I couldn't think of a better person to do it since, Animal Psychic is all you.
Mm. Your dogs absolutely adore you, first of all. I feel like it's very, very important to point that out. They absolutely adore you. You are their whole world. Um, Everything about you, they absolutely love. You're very, very kind and very, very sweet to your dogs, aren't you? You're very like, these are my babies, um, which I can relate with. It's very, very sweet. What are they barking at? Let's see. I'm gonna shuffle the cards to build up the energy a bit, but we might not actually need an actual card for it. Mm. It's nothing. It's nothing bad. Okay. It's not. It's not like a horrible spirit or anything like that. It's nothing like that. I feel like there is somebody in spirit around you. Older chap, I was about to say, and then pulled this card, which normally indicates like an older loved one. Um, but they don't come right in the house, right? They don't come right in the house. It's like they want to look after you, but they don't want to disturb you. It might be somebody who you didn't know very well in waking life, they're saying, and they're not even saying in living life, they're saying in waking life, which I think is an interesting turn of tongue. So they kind of want to watch you without kind of disturbing you. And one of the dogs in particular, who has the more floppy ears, who's a bit more floppy. The more floppy puppy is actually trying to invite them in, and the other one is saying, no, 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 because we don't know them. We don't know them. So they're kind of arguing with each other in little bits like that as well. So it's not even just about what's going on. They're kind of like that, mana mana at each other. So yeah, so it's the who is like somebody that you didn't know very well while they were alive, but they're kind of looking after you and they don't want to disturb you. And the dogs barking is a little bit at each other. One of them inviting the person and one of them saying absolutely not. But nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about.
What an interesting dynamic. Um, let's see just the last few messages before we sign off for the year. Suzanne says, thanks so much. Not sure if this is job related, but things can change in the blink of an eye. A lot can change in a fortnight indeed. Isa has missed and said hello, Doran and Val. Internet went out, so I missed the show. Thank you so much for checking in. I was thinking, where is Isa? And Trista says it's mutual. I think this is about how sweet she is to the dogs.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Listen, boys, girls, and all the rest, make sure that you Trista says, okay, that's comforting news. Make sure you like, subscribe, and very, very importantly, also download Tor's single for free on torjamesfaulkner.com. It's our opening credit song. Yeah, look at it. It's our opening credit song, but it actually sort of carries on. And the fun bit is towards the end, like in life.
My brain just went somewhere way else.
I actually meant like towards the end of the life, when you spend the life like building up and, and training and sort of finding your way and stuff. And then I suppose when you get to like an older age, you can enjoy. That's where I went to. Where did you go to, Tor? Now, you're not going to say because we want to stay on the air. So we are wishing you a very, very incredible end of the year. Happy anything, whatever you celebrate. You're celebrating Yule and Christmas. So,
Yeah, Yule, Christmas. No, because Lucia
and the
was
other
last
Yule
week. Yeah, and the other Yule. Yeah,
and the other
and
Yule.
you Hanukkah.
I've got Hanukkah and Christmas on the same day this time. Get the
Oh
mince pies
wow,
in the fridge. Get the latkes out. It's going to be incredible. I have no idea
it
how
will
much
be
I'm looking forward
amazing.
to it.
I'll be coming round
Yes,
to your house.
coming around to my house. I don't think it's ever been that late in the year. So yeah, this is going to be really, really exciting. And there's lots of stuff coming up next year. So we can't wait to catch up with you. Is the 6th of January good for you, Tor?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably, but I don't know.
Hopefully we'll be here with you bright and early on the first Monday of the new year. Have a great end of 2024, and thank you. Wait, I haven't even lined up the closing credits. There we go. And no, sorry, finger. And have an incredible time, and we will see you when we see you.
Have a fabulous rest of it.
They say you're normal, but you're nobody I know. You energize